All right, so I'm just going to run through my settings really quick. It is June 25th, 2026, and so my sensitivities might get quicker in the future. I don't know, but for right now, this is my settings, so I'll just do it real quick. Try not to bore you guys. Get right to it. If anyone's interested, just a disclaimer: this is just my preferences, my settings. They're not wrong, they're not right. Use your own. Don't get mad at me saying this is fucked up, that you shouldn't do this or whatever. Hey, it's totally up to you what you want to do with your sensitivities and your fucking settings. This is just my opinion, and that's all it is. Take it or leave it. Don't get offended by it. Okay, so I don't use aim assist. I have tried it in the past, and I feel like it drags my crosshair onto the wrong opponent, and I never liked aim assist. I always considered it as cheating. I would rather develop my own ability to micro adjust, and so when you let the game engine do the micro adjusting for you, you're kind of shortchanging yourself. You're not really learning how to aim. So turn aim assist off and learn how to fucking play. That's my opinion. I think it's cheating, and for me it's actually a disadvantage to use it. It just feels weird. It feels like out of control. So it's just stupid. I tried it once for like 3 minutes and I was like, yeah, this sucks. So all right, so I use fixed position on the button, on the R fire button, and camera rotation on the fire button is off so I don't mess up my aim. Left joystick mode, left control, that has to do with my HUD. I won't explain all of these things. Shotgun hip fire, hold to fire, so you're tapping to fire basically. ADS for rotation is off again, so I don't mess up my aim when I'm ADSing, because I use like a 4-finger claw. You'll see. One tap ADS is the same thing. I keep this off because I want to hip fire. So if I'm one tapping and it's ADSing, that means I never get to hip fire, so that really sucks. So I keep that turned off. Quick weapon switch I keep on because I keep the button on the screen. You'll see that later too. Shotgun hit reminder, I just have it off. One tap weapon switch, I have it on. Secondary fire mode is manual. Movable joystick just default. Bolt action pre-input off. ADS tap and hold. So tap and hold. I used to use a hybrid before, but I changed it. And my FOV is 70 and 60. I feel like this is right. This feels right. The best FOV is basically right in the middle. So anything from, let's say, like 65 to 75. But anything outside of 65 to 75, I feel is like a disadvantage for you. You're either going to be too close in or too far away. So mathematically, the best FOV is right in the middle. But anywhere from 65 to 75, if it's like 50 to 100 scale or whatever, like, so you want to have it in the center, basically, around the center. Sync ADS to scope zoom, I have it turned on, so there's not such a zoom in on like just like iron sights, which I find annoying. If you're on a phone, you might need that because you might want to have a little bit more like magnification, but I think even on a phone I would keep it on so it's not annoying. On an iPad it definitely feels way better to have it on. ADS without interrupt I have on because that's just convenient. Reduce sway, obviously have that on. Fast throw grenade, I have that off so I can be more like precise with my grenades. Quick run from prone, I have it on just for mobility sake. I can just like quick run and get out of my prone position if I need to. Sometimes, not very often. I often just like hit the jump button to get out of prone. But anyway, hide the prone button and use crouch to prone, I have that turned off because it's faster to do drop shots to hit the button rather than hitting crouch, because it takes like a second or something for you to actually go prone, which is, you're already dead. It's too slow to do that, so have that off. Slide while running, I have that tap just for quickness. I used to have it on hold, but that was just stupid. Joystick auto sprint, I have it turned. I can't fucking talk today. I don't know what it is. I guess I just want to get through this really quickly. So auto sprint, I have it turned off because I find it's annoying. I always have to like kind of like control when it's on. You know, I'd rather just sprint when I'm pushing forward, which is so much easier and better. And it feels like other games like Combat Master, they don't have that. You just push your finger forward to sprint. It's just so much easier that way, and it's more dynamic. Gyro on, of course, full on. Of course, I don't invert it. Always sprint, I have it on. I have the sensitivity set to 100, so I'm basically always sprinting. I have a very fast play style. I'm strafing around. I'm very much a movement player, so I have that on 100 cents. Continuous grenade throw I have off. Slide hit on, although I could turn it off. It doesn't really make much difference for that. Damage number, I have it on. With the damage number transparency, I have it on 100 because I like to know that I'm actually hitting the guy, and I like to know how much health is coming off when I'm hitting. Although a lot of times I can't even see it when I'm playing, like barely see it, but it just kind of helps to know. And so for the rest of this stuff I have on, for Mythic, weapon inspection, split throw button, I have it on. Enable left-hand tactical, that's important, I have that on. Oh, jump button supports jump and climb, I have that off. It's just slower. I mean, it's faster to have it off, to climb over things. And the rest of this, on. Weapon inspect while jumping and swiping and sprinting and jumping. It's kind of cool to just have that on. Teammate marker, I have it on. Mistouch prevention mode, I don't need that, so I have it turned off. Bullet trail effect, I have it on. Motion blur, of course, is always off. Hitting sound enhancement on, because I like to, like any kind of indication, I just need to know that I actually hit the guy. Sound visualization on the mini map, I have it on, although I've come to think of it, I've never even noticed that on the mini map, so I'll have to watch for that next time. Fast climb, of course. Animation blend. Okay, animation blend off. This does away with some animation that just smooths things out when you're ADSing, but it slows down things. It's not as snappy to have it on. I had it on forever, and I just recently turned it off, and it's way better. So definitely turn animation blend off. And FOV curve, I recently just turned that on as well, and basically what that is you don't get that zoom in effect until you're actually looking through your scope, or when your iron sight is fully ADS'd. So when you hit like ADS, it doesn't like jar your screen. It's not like slightly ADSing before you're even fully ADS. So it's more like if you shoot a real gun, you're not going to be like zoomed in until you're actually looking through your scope, right? But without looking through your scope, you're not going to be zoomed in. So that's basically what it is. So it's actually faster to have ADS FOV curve on because you're retaining your like hip fire sensitivity before you reach that fully zoomed in state, if that makes any sense. So overall, it's less jarring. You don't get that slight magnification when you don't need it. So you can, if you have the habit of like slightly hitting your ADS button to make your weapon kind of come up once in a while, but you don't want to fully ADS, this will prevent your screen from actually ADSing before you're fully ADSed. So it's convenient, and it makes things way quicker and snappier. So yeah, that's why I have that on. So that's an important one, the FOV curve, ADS FOV curve, have that on. Dynamically hide crosshair, I have that off because I want to have my crosshair on the screen all the time. I don't want it to disappear off the screen when I'm sprinting. So yeah, so it's easier to maintain like a good crosshair placement. And hitting optimization of crosshair, I want to know that I'm hitting the guy. I want a good visible hit marker, so I have that on. Kill cam, classic view. Broadcast I have off. Auto lean I have on. Anything that kind of helps me, you know, because I'm always using cover really tight, so I definitely have that on. Enemy recognition on. Reduced off. Inverted off. Just trust me, just keep this shit off. Bullet effects, I have it on. Or bullet sound effects, sorry. I mean, anything to help me where fire is coming from. So bullet sound effects you definitely want to have on. And all the marker settings on, of course. Execution, I just have it off. Quick knife, I have off. I don't even use melee at all. I'd never use melee. I'll never quick knife someone in close quarters. I'll never do that. I just always use my guns. Gun kick scale, all this stuff is 0, of course. One player DOF off. Recoil, rotate scale, everything is 0, 0. So you don't have any kick, as little as possible anyway. Health bar mode on, and the opacity is 100. Health bar scale is that. So from my teammate perspective, I have it turned on so I can actually see my teammates like through walls like that. You can see their body through the walls. And yeah, this is the rest of my map settings. Okay, so we got that stuff. Controls. This is my HUD. Looks messy, but if you notice down on the right side, there's a room for my right thumb and my drop shot button down here on the right, because that's the fastest to drop shot. My fire button here, and jump and crouch on the right side there. My ADS button, my weapon switch button over here on the left. Everything is accessible quickly, and it all just makes sense. It all makes sense. I have it all laid out so that I can do anything simultaneously. There's nothing I can't do at once. There's no two things I can't do at once, basically. That's how this is all laid out. I've thought about this stuff for years. So this is the work of years of arranging. Like, this is the perfect HUD for me. It might look messy and weird to people, but it works for me. This is how it is. If I tried to explain it, it would probably take like an hour, like not even joking. So yeah, so everything is laid out exactly so it allows me to do any two things simultaneously, basically. So yeah, yeah. So that's that. What else now? Oh yeah, audio and graphics. Okay, so depending on your device, obviously, I suggest medium because then you can adjust your brightness and saturation. Frame rate, of course, depends on your device. I use a iPad Pro 11-inch, so my sensitivities, my HUD, all of that depends on that. So this is an iPad Pro 11-inch. So yeah, I'm able to use Ultra because it's still fast enough, even though it's like a 2020 iPad. iPads are pretty amazing. Even a 2020, it can, no problem, handle Ultra. So realistic scope, I keep it on. That's so when you're ADSing, you can actually start seeing through your scope like really early on, which really helps a lot. Definitely keep realistic scope on. Some people tell you to turn it off. That's nonsense. That's complete nonsense. I've done my research on that. Auto adjust screen, shader preloader. Super resolution, I turn it on. You know, it's iPad, I can do that. Optical performance of scope on, explosion shake across, of course I turn that off. Customize color. Okay, so I guess I should show you guys this, right? What I use. Because how else can I show it here? Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to show it.
Training mode.
So, okay, so this is what I use. And then for advanced, this is what I use for shadows. This is what I use for midtones. This is what I use for highlights. Okay? That's what I use. Alright, so can we go back into the settings immediately, I guess? I gotta jump back into there again. Alright, so that's what I use for that. Those settings makes it really bright, yet not overblown, so you can still see opponents at range, and it makes it very saturated, the color and everything. It's a really good setting to use. So yeah, I have that saved as custom one. All right, so yeah, effect style, I use blood. I just like realistic. I just like blood, the blood color. Get hint is red. Master volume. I adjust my volume for, you know, doing commentary. Really just you have to play around with this stuff to get it right so you can hear your commentary during the game. But generally you want to have your master volume on 100 and then make adjustments to everything else. So this is how I have it currently. But this is only if you're doing commentary during a game. But like a lot of things like the team voice volume, ambient volume, you want to keep it kind of lower. It kind of helps hear footsteps, because ambient volume is just like the environmental noise, which you don't need to hear. So yeah, UI volume, keep it pretty low too. Team voice volume, around 50. So yeah. All right, so that's that. Yeah. Sensitivity, I use fixed speed. Fixed speed is the best. Do not use distance or speed. Stick to fixed. It's the most consistent. Where you move your thumb, no matter how fast you move it or how far, it's always gonna be the same. Fixed speed is the best for being like most consistent. You can like jump, swipe 360 and know that you're gonna land in exactly the same way every time, because you're using fixed speed. There's no acceleration, which it makes it the most accurate, the most consistent. I've done my research on this too. Trust me, use fixed speed. It's the best. But if you don't agree, you can use whatever you want. Acceleration value, I keep it all the way up so I can adjust my sensitivities as high as I feel like. That's why I do that. It has no effect on it. There's no acceleration because I have it on fixed speed. But I just want to be able to adjust my sensitivities really high, so I turn it up to 300. Link sync sensitivity with resolution. This just messes up your sensitivity, so I just keep it off. Sensitivity switch while opening ADS. I have it on that because it's the quickest. Operator skill sensitivity, I really I keep it on 155, which is like slightly faster, but it feels fine at that. Like I haven't really adjusted it, but it just seems to feel fine when I use it, so I just leave it at that. But if you want to play around with that, by all means, but I haven't felt the need to do that. My operator skill sensitivity feels very quick. So yeah, my camera sensitivity, I use 118. That allows me to like swipe, like just a regular swipe and do a full 360. My red dot hollow, I have it all the way up to 300. Because there is a bug in the game, the only place I'd ever would consider even using a red dot is on the three-line sniper rifle, and when you put that particular red dot on that sniper rifle, it causes your hip fire rotation to be about, I don't know, like a quarter less for some reason. It's a bug in the game. So in order to counter that, I have to turn it all the way up to 300, and it still feels slightly slower than normal. So it's messed up. So that's the reason I just put it all the way to 300. I would actually go faster if I could on it because it's still too slow because of a bug in the game that I've reported a million times. So my ADS sensitivity is 212, which is pretty quick, but it allows me to like very quickly change direction while ADSing. Like basically a full 180 I can do with like a sort of like a really quick swipe. So it's much higher than usual, but my gyro kind of like I can still micro adjust. So basically all of these are quite high sensitivity because I'm using gyro. So all I'm doing is just getting on target with my thumb. And then if I have to make a micro adjustment, then I'm relying on my gyro. But so that's how I'm able to run such high sensitivities across the board here, as you'll see. My firing sensitivity is exactly the same. And as you can see, I use no vertical turning. I just keep it at the standard, so it matches with whatever sensitivity you're using. When you leave it at 100, it just matches with whatever sensitivity you're using, basically, so it feels like normal. But by all means, you can do whatever you want. You can mess around with your vertical turning sensibility, as they call it in COD Mobile, but I would just leave it at 100. All of the rest, you can run pretty fast. So my gyro is maybe slightly higher than normal, but not much. It just allows me to do decent, like, corrections, decent micro adjustments that may be a little bit further than normal if I have to. So, but yeah, that's what it is. I'm mainly aiming with my right thumb, believe it or not. I'm very rarely using my gyro, only if I really need to. If it's like if an opponent is getting just slightly out of my range of where my thumb is on the screen, then I'll turn my gyro. So it's a slightly higher than normal, but it's not like I'm running around with like a shaky screen or anything either. So that's how I've come to all of these. You can tell my steering sensitivity for my gyro is like 64 and my ADS is like 65, right? So it's like very, very close, only because of the very subtle ADS when you ADS with like iron sights. So that's the only reason for that. It's like just a little bit more, not much. Like I can notice the difference with 1 point of gyro increase. I can actually feel that difference. When you play long enough, you can feel the difference of just 1 point. So you have to be careful with sensitivities. Like for me, I literally adjust like 1 point up to maybe 5 at maximum at a time. And then I might adjust the rest mathematically, or I might not. Like with my firing sensitivity, like my steering and my red dot hollow sensitivity, my steering and my ADS sensitivity, I consider those like related to each other. So my ADS sensitivity has more to do with my steering sensitivity than my ADS sensitivity would have more to do with like my tactical scope sensitivity, which is another bug scope that I have to keep turned up like much higher sensitivity than normal, because it's just slow for some reason. And so it's different than like all the other scopes. All the other scopes are kind of like mathematically set. Like for example, my 3x scope is 153. My 4x scope is 143. It's 10 points, right? So it's mathematically that way. I've come to that. But 10 points on the sensitivity is like very little difference. But you'll notice it. But it makes sense sometimes to do it mathematically like that, and it'll feel right to you. You can see, you'll notice the sniper scope is 193. So I go from like 193, 153, 143. You get it? But like I was saying with my ADS and my steering sensitivity, those I consider different. Those are more related to each other. So yeah, these are my gyro. Again, this is my gyro fire sensitivity. It's the same. Vehicle, I don't even worry about it because I don't play BR. Controller, I don't use controller. And I guess that's it. I'll go back to this again. I just want to make sure that I didn't mess this up from previously, which would be really funny. Yeah, it's on custom 1 still. Okay. So yeah, that's my sensitivities. If that took too long, you can just listen to my voice where I make all of these fucking mistakes, because I'm just trying to get this done quickly, and you can listen to it in like 2 times speed. I'm sure I'll sound like a chipmunk. All right, guys, that's that. Let me know in the comments what you think about this long and boring video. Thank you.
Excuse me, somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.